Slack first doesn't have to mean Slack only, and today's guest, Nicole Pomponio, tells us why. Nicole is the delivery and operations manager at SaltClick, and she's going to tell us, Salesforce admins, how we can unlock the full potential of Slack and Salesforce. In addition, Nicole shares her journey from accidental admin to leadership, and she gives us some insight into building intentional channel structure, integrating external platforms like Jira, and reshaping the admin role in this new, very connected era. So whether you're Slack curious or already swimming in salty channels, you're going to walk away with some ideas you can use. And with that, let's get Nicole on the podcast. So Nicole, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you so much for having me, Mike. Super excited to be here.
I'm excited for everything that's coming up for Dreamforce. Last week, we got done talking about navigating flow errors as an administrator. And the irony is I had to do a workshop and navigate my own flow error. So it's fortuitous the way things happen sometimes when you record a podcast.
It was meant to be.
But Slack is a thing, and Slack's been a thing for a while. And you're going to present about Salesforce channels inside Slack. Before we talk about that, let's learn a little bit about you, Nicole. Tell us kind of what you do in your everyday life and how you got into the Salesforce ecosystem.
Absolutely. I have been in the Salesforce ecosystem for about 14 plus years. I stopped counting because it makes me feel old. Got started reporting, and it grew from there. I was lucky enough to become a solo accidental admin, and then the opportunities just spun up from there. My day-to-day life right now, I manage delivery and operations over at SaltClick. We're a consultancy for Salesforce and Slack. So I get to work with very bright people building out super fun solutions for customers and ourselves. And that's Salesforce and Slack together, which also gets me very excited.
I reached the same kind of milestone where my Salesforce experience, somebody said, "Oh, it's old enough that it could have graduated from high school."
Oh, ouch.
Yeah, burn. Yours at least has a learner's permit.
I'm almost driving. Yeah.
Right. Almost driving.
I'm almost driving.
There's no segue to talk about Slack and driving. Things you shouldn't do while driving. Have your phone and use Slack. Why do admins need to discover channels in Slack?
It's such a great, timely question, Mike. For me, there's no better time because Slack is being positioned in front of Salesforce. And I know we just aged ourselves a little bit, but it's really the first time that I've seen that happen and seen it done in a really meaningful way. So from my perspective, we're starting to see a really close merge of Slack, this communication powerhouse, with Salesforce, and having the ability to understand and navigate both right now is going to be such an amazing opportunity. And I think it starts to rewrite the narrative of what an admin is.
Oh, how so?
An admin, I think it's been changing over the years, right? Like if we look at what a Salesforce admin historically was, we're creating workflows. We're navigating, some fields, some page layouts, and then we're growing from there. We're working with flows, and we're starting to dip our toe into becoming developers, maybe, if we want to take that path. And now it's merging more with other platforms. As a Salesforce admin, I need to also understand connected platforms, how to maybe connect to different systems. So over the course of, I think, rapidly the past 3 years, what an admin has been, I think, is no longer just those foundational Salesforce elements. It's really starting to evolve. So I see that happening too with Slack, right? So bridging the gap a little bit, expanding out to other systems. So I do think it's shifting, and Slack has helped shaping that.
Yeah, I mean, I always look at how many meetings are people in. And I remember when Salesforce acquired Slack, of course, we had a lot of collaboration tools, and organizations have a lot of collaboration tools. With channels, does the collaboration tool become the channel, or how does it really kind of narrowly define what some of the users are looking for in terms of supplemental data outside of what's on the record?
Yeah, that Slack channel, now merging with Salesforce, of course, we've got Salesforce channels, really is that collaboration. It's a point where teams are coming together. They're not having to wait for that weekly meeting, right? I'm not having to wait for my monthly meeting, my weekly meeting. I can work async in Slack, but all of that information is being condensed and surfaced in that Slack channel. So it's easier for us to find what we're looking for. Everything stays together. If we're using threads like we should, all of those answers are within one thread. We're seeing associated files. And now with Salesforce channels, we're seeing that Salesforce data as well, and details tabs and related lists. Everything's right there, surfaced and condensed for us. So it really creates an efficiency that I don't think we've seen before.
Do you feel, in terms of broadening the reach and looking at other platforms? I mean, at Salesforce, we look at Slack, and Salesforce is really just the platform. How have you navigated working with others in your organization to integrate platforms into Salesforce?
It's one of my favorite questions.
Ooh.
I love to bring things into Slack. I really want to, and this is a little bit selfish of me, I just want to be in Slack, right? I'm biased heavily here. So the more that I can bring in, I think the better it's going to be for me, but also our teams, right? We talk about Slack being our work operating system and wanting to do more in the flow of work, all these, buzzwords and phrases we hear. What does that really mean? It's bringing those systems in, right? Whether it's just the data or it's actually actions and connecting out to. So I think the example that is top of mind for me, because I'm in it constantly, is Jira. So I want to connect with Jira through Slack so that I can create issues, I can update issues. I just get things done faster with pulling in those external systems, the data, but now the actions too, right? Which that gets me really excited, because if we're talking about our agentic era, then if I start to think about the data that's available to me and the actions I could potentially do, I think natural next step is, can I get an agent to do them for me? Which, if we're talking about efficiency, frees up my time for the higher level things. I love to spend my time with people. So I know that was a long way from connecting systems and bringing things in, but it becomes my favorite question, because we can start to do so much when we connect systems that we're using every day and when we're actioning in those systems too.
Yeah. Well, I just for clarity's sake, I prefer the long scenic route of the answer, not the short.
Oh, good. Good. Yeah, mine are
drive
long.
around the block, got to see everything, take the long way. Sunday afternoon cruise in the convertible.
Perfect.
So one question I have, and this goes back to maybe I was an admin in a different era. It sounds like your organization is bought in and your leadership is bought in to, let's make Slack the interface for a lot of our work. Is that true?
Yeah, we are Slack first.
Okay. Did you sell that vision, or was that kind of a consensus that came down from leadership that you embraced and get to work towards?
I mean, Mike, I would love to take all of the credit for this. Sometimes I do. Just kidding, I don't. It's a top-down, bottom-up type of approach, right? I think the magic of Slack is that when you're using it and when you're using it right, it's easily adopted. And I don't have to sell it, if you will, right? Because I use it, I showcase it, and then everyone sees the power of that. My favorite thing is the light bulb moments. So the more that we can do that, the easier that story becomes. But I will say, when I started at SaltClick, it was almost 3 years ago. Time flies. It was already heavily being used, and one of my predecessors was really starting to push on what is Slack? How can we use it? And I really gravitated toward that. So I just started to pick that up, training sessions for folks, really empowering people and pushing them to Slack's help articles because they're amazing. So it just became a natural conversation for us. And now it's people coming to me saying, hey, can we do this with Slack? Right? I just posted something about gear set and getting notifications and then linking out to pull requests to understand what's being validated, what's failing, right? That wasn't my idea. Shout out to Jacob on my team because he knows that we can use Slack for many different things and he wants to make his own life easier. So it's become a natural conversation for us. What can we do in Slack and how can we do it, right? People come to me with like half-baked ideas. I love it. And then I just help get it to the finish line. I might have an idea I reach out to somebody about, but it is really all hands in on Slack.
Okay, you win. You got the fun leadership. So let's play the opposite side of that coin. The admins bought in you, and you see the vision, you see the potential, but perhaps leadership, they're busy. They don't pay attention 24/7 like you do to the innovation that's coming out of Salesforce and Slack. But your users and the pains and the gaps within the organization. What would your advice be for an admin that's, maybe going to go to Dreamforce or maybe watched a YouTube video online about Slack or just knows that their organization has Slack, but kind of, to me, it's like Slack's like a Ferrari and you use it to go to the store and buy a gallon of milk every week and you don't use it to its full potential. What would your advice be for those admins to get the organization to kind of flip to where you're at?
I think that's such a great question. And just to be fair for the previous question, I am on our leadership team. So that was kind of
so you have sway there too.
An unfair advantage for me. But if I put my leadership hat on, what I'm looking for is not just the problem, but the solution. So for folks that are trying to navigate, well, how do I really showcase this? It's really difficult sometimes to get enough data to show ROI, right? But if you go to leaders in your organization, you say, hey, I see this problem. I think that Slack can solve this for us, can fill this gap. Here's how we could do it. I don't know many leaders that would just say hard pass. I don't want to even look at that, right? I think taking that initiative would really show that you're invested and showing the solution to that problem, I think would be phenomenal, right? I think as leaders, we tend to see problems and we have potential solutions, but we really want input and buy-in from the people that are using the tools, right? It shouldn't just be, the Nicole show. I want to definitely understand that it's going to add value for folks. So if you're one of those people that are really trying to showcase what Slack can do, I would suggest going to Slack sessions at Dreamforce. I would suggest joining the Slack community and making some friends in there. I'll definitely say hi to you, but really poke around at, here's a problem I'm trying to solve. What's a way I could do it with Slack? I know I would be willing to help folks, right? But anyone in the community would be willing to help too. And I bet you in some of the sessions that you're going to, you're going to see a lot of use cases and a lot of ways to solve those problems. So that's what comes to mind for me when I think, how do I reposition this tool that might just be seen as a way to send messages to something that can actually solve some business problems for us?
Yeah, I mean, I've felt that way. So you opened up a whole other can of questions when you said you're on leadership. I think that's incredibly awesome that you're a Salesforce admin and you're in leadership. For admins that aren't in leadership, was this just the way that your organization operates? The admin is part of leadership, or how did you get that seat at the table?
Such a great question. Many of your questions are great questions.
I try really hard. I'm thinking of hosting a podcast where I ask questions. What do you think?
I think this would be a great journey for you.
Okay. We'll see how it works out.
I think in our organization, I have the flexibility and opportunity to be the Slack owner as well as participate in being that Salesforce admin as well. It's a shared responsibility. So it's not just me doing it, but because of the experiences I've had, not only being a Salesforce admin, being a Salesforce BA, being the doer and the navigator in different business units in my past life, I've been able to take that with me wherever I go. So it is a gift that I'm able to bring at SaltClick to be able to do multiple things, but I really enjoy coaching others on that too. So for me in leadership, it's been very powerful because I can understand how we can use our systems to really solve our business needs. And again, SaltClick gives me the opportunity to continue to do the things that bring me joy.
That's a really good answer. See, good questions, good answers. On the subject of Slack, because I'd love to know, how often do you communicate with your users broadly? Like, do you have a dedicated Slack channel? Do you run help through Slack? Is there like a place for them to ask questions? How do you run user engagement on your end?
So from the SaltClick lens, we have fun channels, we have learning channels, training channels, we have chit chat channels. We all have some salty channels as well because we like to have fun. We have salty babies and salty pets. I'm a jokester and I can't help but bring corny jokes into every aspect of my life. And then as a Slack community group leader, I have a channel in our Slack workspace as well. So from the Slack community lens, the engagement there is really answering questions that come in. Sometimes you're going to get a meme, sometimes you'll get some help articles and some directions and a path forward. And it's really posting consistently there to help people understand that you're there for them, that you can bring them information in the flow of their lives that's going to help them. On the SaltClick side, it really is about trying to organize because it did some kind of research pretty recently to understand how many channels are we in, how many messages and files and all kinds of stuff are we sending around. It's a lot. I think on average, people are in like 100 or 200 channels. So the noise can become pretty robust. You want to try and organize that and make it meaningful. So really kind of helping navigate with channel descriptions. What are we even doing in this channel? What's our goal? What can you expect? Letting people know that they don't have to be in a channel, right? They can exit it. They can leave. They can set their own notifications. I really like to advocate for not only the way that we have our channels set up, but the way that they can help themselves in that experience as well. But we have all kinds of fun. I think my favorite is probably the salty babies one.
I won't dig into that because who knows where that goes. I would like to know because there's and we have this a little bit at Salesforce. Did you enforce, or did you enforce? Sounds bad. I don't have a different word for it. Parameter. I don't know. Fence. Did you put out guideline? That feels the best.
Guidelines.
Put out
guidelines,
right. Guidepost. Yeah. Did you put out something to like, because people can name channels whatever they want. Did you put out kind of a naming thing so that people know? You mentioned salty channels and chit chat channels, and boy, say that one 5 times fast.
You can't. I can't.
And no, I will. I'll just get myself kicked off the air. And like, work channels, and we have that at Salesforce too. Did you put out kind of a guide and get leadership? I mean, you're on leadership, but like a corporate understanding of like, here's how we should name things so that people can easily kind of quantify stuff?
Yes, you want to have some pretty solid channel naming conventions to help people organize their day and to make it easier to find things, right? So I did mention the Salty Babies channel, right? The fun ones could start with salty. They could start with fun. But you want to make sure that you're outlining what those are for your teams and that you're building out some Slack etiquette. But thinking about, too, not only our internal channels, our external ones as well.
Oh.
So yes, we don't want to confuse ourselves or our vendors or customers. So,
right.
And I'm sure you might be in many different channels and you have an external channel. You want to quickly know that it's external. So putting EXT in the front of it is definitely helpful for your eye to make sure you understand you're posting something in the right location. And then if it's internal, putting an INT in front of it. And then we did develop a standard naming convention for our project channels. Because again, we are Slack first. So we're running our projects through Slack. And then we have our customers in Slack channels as well. So we wanted to define what those naming conventions were so that we could organize ourselves a lot more efficiently. And then we also think about, too, what should go in that channel. Right? Should there be a canvas or not? So not only are we thinking about standard naming conventions for channels, we're also thinking about what would add value right there in the channel. So if I have a canvas for a project, what should I have in that canvas? If I have a canvas in a DM with one of my direct reports, what should I have in that canvas to make it meaningful? So in my mind, it's definitely thinking about the structures of the channels, how we're using Slack, what our etiquette is for each other. And even things like defining the emojis that you use. A thumbs up or thumbs down could mean something else, to someone. I like to give the example of my parents texting one another back and forth. My mom sent like a long paragraph to my dad, and then his response was like a thumbs up. But we probably had a good 5-minute conversation around what his thumbs up meant. Was it a good thumbs up? Was it a sarcastic thumbs up? So defining what your emojis mean could avoid some confusion down the line.
Yeah, I would agree. There's a few channels that, we have one internally on the admin team, and we use an emoji just to like recognize or put your hand up for something. And I never realized how many different hands there were as emoji. I was like, why doesn't it? Because it also kicks off a workflow that like, hey, so and so said yes, and they would do this, and I'm like, I put my hand up. Why didn't the workflow fire? Oh, I used the wrong hand. I used hand 2 instead of hand 1.
There are a lot, and then you can make your own custom emojis. That can get
well, that's a requirement on my team. Everybody has to have their own emoji.
You have to have it. I love that.
And I'm blessed enough. Somebody made one of me giving a thumbs up. So like I got both.
Nice.
I got me and a thumbs up.
That's awesome.
Last question. For all of the stuff that you're working on for Salesforce, for Dreamforce, sorry, so many forces. I'm sure it'll be Slack Force, right?
It could be.
If admins were listening to this and they had to go, what's one reason I need to talk to my leadership about Slack and why? Because I heard it from Nicole. What would that answer be?
Oh my gosh, Mike, no pressure.
No, none.
I truly believe that we are going to continue to see an evolution of the integration between Slack and Salesforce. It feels like we're on like the arc. We're on that path, right? Purchased in 2021, started to hear some rumors about things being connected, started to see it happen, right? We've got Salesforce channels. We have to be empowered to understand what we can do with both systems. And the best way to do that is to immerse yourself in at least 3 days of sessions heavily centered around what you can do with Slack, what you can do with Salesforce, and what you can do by combining them. I think it is the perfect opportunity, right? I was at TDX and started to hear a lot of Salesforce people asking, what's up with Slack? What can we do there? A lot of people are starting to join the Slack community. It's the perfect time. And I think with how fast things are changing, I don't want anyone to get left behind. I don't want them to feel like they're being left behind. Certainly not anyone's company. So I think for me, it's really, really being at this point of being able to understand both and connect them.
Well, I think that's very, very solid reasoning right there. I can't think of anything better.
It feels right. I feel like anyone would say yes to that.
I mean, it's also one of those kind of pretty obvious things, right? AI is a very conversational tool, and so is Slack.
Yes.
It's made for each other.
I think so. I mean, I want an agent right in there chatting with me, helping me with my day.
I would love. I'm if one of these days, like I'm a fan of Marvel. One of these days, I'm going to get my own assistant.
Yes.
And it fires up. Good morning, Mike.
I want my own Jarvis. I don't think I would name him. I wouldn't name them Jarvis, but
I would totally name him Jarvis, and I expect him to have a British accent because it sounds just very proper. And but yes, open up my shades. Tell me what the weather's going to be, and my first meeting, and summarize the urgency of Slack messages that I got. That's what I want.
I don't think we're asking for too much.
No, I mean, we were supposed to have flying cars by now.
Yes.
So
least we can do is have a Slack agent that can follow us around our house.
That speaks in a British voice.
Yes.
Cool. Thanks, Nicole, for coming on the podcast. I appreciate it.
Thank you so much for the opportunity.
Big thanks to Nicole for sharing how she's leading with Slack and evolving the admin role along the way. I really love the fact that she is an admin for multiple platforms and has leadership in leadership at her organization. It's great to hear from her how she's building smart channel conversations and also, yes, finding that seat at the table. I don't know about you, but I got a lot of strategy. I got a ton of inspiration out of this episode. Now, I know not everybody's head to Dreamforce, but if you are, I hope this session got you excited for some of the content that's out there. If you're not, that's okay. There is a ton of content on Slack, on both Trailhead, on our YouTube channels. You're not going to miss out. We'll also broadcast a whole bunch of this. I do believe Nicole's session will probably also be online. So I'll just let that out as a sneak peek. Now, if you learned something new or you enjoyed this episode, do me a favor, share it with somebody, promote it on social, spread the word, let other admins find some of this great content that you enjoy listening to. And with that, until next time, I'll see you in the cloud.